Welcome out again, everyone. Sports Talk Mania. I'm your host, Lee Haygood, here with you each and every Monday afternoon from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's talk some sports today. This Monday afternoon, October the 6th, let's talk a lot of sports. Someone give me a call. Phone lines are open at 931-629-1824. Be glad to talk to you about anything sports related. Also, you can email us at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We'll be answering any kind of emails that you send to us as well. Got the producer, Mr. Producer, Kyle Johnson, sitting in with me today on Sports Talk Mania. KJ, what a weekend for football.
Well, yeah, glad to be here. First of all, want to thank you for having me on today's show, Mr. Haygood.
Yes, sir.
Like you said, what a weekend for college football. We saw, I don't know, I forget how many teams it was in the top 25 get upset, but it was just unreal. You know, I saw a picture today that showed the last week's standings compared to this week's new standings, in the polls. And, I mean, they had drawn a line, from one team from one team where they were to where they are now. And there was all kind of different lines going across the board. I mean, it was just totally it's unreal, just totally unreal.
Well, let's talk a little college football. Of course, we're going to get into Loretta Mustang football here during the show. Let's talk a little college football. You said it when you said all the top 25 teams that actually went down. Let's kind of go through some of them. First and foremost, Thursday night's when it started. Oregon lost Thursday night. Oregon was ranked number 2 in the nation. Lost to Arizona by a score of 31-24. And then, as a bunch of our local fans around here, big Alabama fans, Alabama ranked number 3 in the nation going into this past weekend. They lose to Ole Miss, hotty toddy. The Ole Miss Rebels take it to Alabama by a score of 23-17. And let's just keep going down the list because TCU upset Oklahoma. And, when you start talking about top 25, KJ, I don't know if you call this an upset or not, but a 25th ranked team of Texas Christian beat the number 4 ranked team. So if you want to call that an upset, you can call it an upset. Personally, I think if you rank a top 25, it means you're a top 25 team in the nation. You can beat anybody on any given day. And if you want to call an upset, that's fine. I can understand that point. But to me, a top 25 team beating another top 25 team, I don't call that an upset. And then let's just go down the list. Number 5, Auburn, just more or less showed LSU they didn't even need to be in the same stadium. Auburn taking down LSU by a score of 41-7. And then let's get into more SEC action. The number 6 team in the nation, Texas A&M, took down by the Bulldogs from Mississippi State again. Mississippi State coming into the game ranked number 12 in the nation. Texas A&M coming in ranked number 6th in the nation. And Mississippi State just pretty much, the score was a little closer to me than the actual ball game was. 48-31, Mississippi State taking that one. Number 7 team actually survived. That's Baylor. Baylor, to me, is probably one of those, I'm going to call them the dark horse to get into the Final Four at the end of the season. I think the committee, as long as Baylor, and they pretty much hold everything they do in their own hands right now, because if they can go throughout the season undefeated, I think Baylor goes in as one of those Final Four teams there at the end of the season into the playoffs. And then we got UCLA getting upset by Utah. Number 8 team in the nation upset by an unranked team in Utah. So that one was real surprising. That would be considered an upset in my eyes. Then you got Notre Dame actually outlasting Stanford more or less. The number 9 ranked team, Notre Dame, beating the number 14 ranked team of Stanford by a score of 17-14. And then Michigan State beating Nebraska. That was probably one of the better ball games outside of the SEC. SEC was just packed with ball games this past weekend. And, when you start talking about outside the SEC, you got to start throwing Michigan State and Baylor into that conversation because, to me, they're 2 of the better teams that's out there that's not in the SEC. And then we got Georgia beating Vanderbilt, kind of figured that one would happen. Vanderbilt actually put 17 points on the board against Georgia, so that one kind of surprised me as far as Vanderbilt being able to score that many. Then you got Arizona State beating Southern California. And when you talk about an upset, to me, Arizona State's always one of those teams that can beat just about anybody in the nation on any particular night. So, even though they were unranked, that one really didn't surprise me. I think Southern Cal has been one of the most overrated teams for the last few years anyway, when they have been ranked. Wisconsin, number 17 ranked team, losing to Northwestern by a score of 20-14. BYU, the number 18 ranked, losing to USU. And then you've got Ohio State took down Maryland, which Ohio State was ranked 20th. Oklahoma State defeated Iowa State by a score of 37-20. ECU, 22nd ranked team, beats SMU 45-24. Kansas State beat Texas Tech by a score of 45-13. So when you talk about the top 25 teams, several of them went down this past weekend, starting actually back on last Thursday with Oregon getting defeated. And I'm going to tell you, college football is so competitive now. Everybody talks about the SEC being the power conference, and I don't disagree one bit that SEC is the power conference of college football. But when you got, KJ, you got all these SEC teams beating up on each other when it comes SEC time. Of course, most of the teams outside of Tennessee picking up, these little games before they get into the SEC schedule. You got teams like Tennessee that actually took on Oklahoma, who, again, lost this past weekend as well. So, it kind of defeated the purpose of saying, hey, look how good this team was playing Tennessee. Now that we're into college football, though, I want to talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. You were actually at the checkerboard fan zone this past Saturday against Florida, and that was real neat to see, by the way. I love the pictures you sent back of all the orange and white checkerboard people, around the stadium, which was cool. Whoever come up with that, I thought that was an excellent idea, and I'm glad that everybody just about in the whole stadium participated in that. But talk about Tennessee. Tennessee coming off a narrow loss to Georgia by a score of, 35-32, I believe it was. I know it was a 3-point ball game.
Yeah.
And then this past Saturday, losing to Florida by a score of 10-9, who going into the fourth quarter, Tennessee winning 9-0. And then it was like Florida puts in this backup quarterback to Driscoll, and it's like Tennessee can't stop them. So I've said this since day one this year. I think Bush Jones is one of the best coaches that the University of Tennessee Volunteers could have in its spot right now. I think he's one of the best. Now, here's my question to you, KJ. I've said since the start of the season, we don't know how to win. Our experienced players are not there, and even the experienced players there still don't know how to win because we haven't won these big games in college football. We don't know how to persevere throughout the ball game and win these big games. What does the Tennessee Volunteers need to do now to actually step up on that next step and start learning how to win games?
Well, it's, here's the thing. It's everybody wants to win, and everybody wants to win, right now. And I'll admit, even I'm a patient fan, and I consider myself a very patient fan. And I know some other patient fans who are starting to get a little bit impatient, if you will, but here's what I keep reminding myself of, and here's what I remind all the folks of whenever they start, saying, "Oh, I know everybody just says, hold on, and we're eventually going to win, but I want to win right now," And I say, I'm right there in the boat with you. I want to win right now. I think Coach Jones wants to win right now. I think all the players want to win right now. But you gotta keep reminding yourself of the mess that Butch Jones inherited when he came to the University of Tennessee. And I do think that he is still undoing that damage, if you will, that was done in the Derek Dooley era. And it's going to take time. We see Tennessee getting some big recruits. You see some big commitments coming two huge 4-star commits, one arguably a 5-star just last week on the defensive side to aid an already strong defense. I think it's just going to take time to get there. And, I know there's a lot of Tennessee folks, of course, that'll say, well, I've given you time. We've been patient. We've been patient long enough. Y'all have been saying this for, years now. And, that's part of that's part of college football. You just have to, when you have somebody like Butch Jones who is going to build the program up, and I truly believe he's in it for the long haul. Could be wrong, but I think he seems to be in it for the long haul. I think that given enough time, and he seems to be getting the resources together, I think that we will be right back there in the top. And you're already seeing some results. I think we could easily get to a bowl game this year. I don't think it's out of the question at all. And right now, if you talk to a lot of Tennessee fans, that's all they really want. It's just a bowl game once again. And I think it could happen this year. I really do.
Well, the thing about a bowl game is that gives you that extra month to practice. And I think Coach Jones knows that we need that extra month with all this inexperience that we've got. Of course, by the end of the year, we're going to be experienced. But if you can get some of these early signees and stuff in there to start practicing about that time, that gets you more ready and more capable of stepping in the next season experienced instead of inexperienced like they did this year. I mean, going into the first ball game this year, we had one offensive lineman that actually had one start. And outside of that, everybody was new, and I ain't going to say that's freshmen because some of them was a sophomore, and I think we had a junior JUCO transfer that was a junior maybe, but he had never taken, started in an actual D1 ball game. So I don't know. I'm looking at it like I definitely want to get to a bowl game because that gives you that extra month of practice, and I think that's what we're needing right now. We need a lot more experience, a lot more kids out there actually getting to play and see what's going on with our team. So, but I'm seeing progress. The thing that I like about it is we've been competitive in every ball game this season. Even against Oklahoma, when Oklahoma was ranked number 4 in the nation before their defeat this past weekend, we actually was competitive against them. You could tell that we were outplayed by them, and they were the better team that night. But we were competitive. It was, just not another pushover like it has been in the past under the latter years of Fulmer, and especially under the year of Kiffin, which I thought we were competitive the year that Lane Kiffin was our actual football coach. But after that, Lane Kiffin was just able to coach inexperience and a lot of probably JUCO transfers and everything else that year to a decent season. But since then, like you said, we've had the Dooley era, and that just everything went to the bottom of the list there during the Dooley era. And now that Jones has come in, I think he's getting the talent there. I'm looking forward to seeing if he can coach the talent as it's coming in. Now, next year, I think Tennessee fans is going to be expecting a lot more. And we even expect more for this season toward the end of the season. You should be getting better each and every ball game. And I'm not sure that I seen that this past Saturday. I know I went back. I wasn't able to watch it actually in real time live, but I went back and kind of watched. I had it taped or recorded so I could go back and watch it. And I went back and watched, and I haven't watched the whole thing, but I watched most of it. And I didn't see that we look like we've gotten that much better. I think we're executing better, but toward the end of the game, it looked like the same old Tennessee. It looks like we were getting too conservative on our play calling and things of that nature. Blame that on the players or blame that on the coach. That's neither here nor there at this point in time. But we're getting back to the old Tennessee, back when Philip Fulmer was coaching. And I know you don't know those days or remember those days as well as I do, but I can remember the Philip Fulmer when he first took over for Johnny Majors. And he was not, the coaching staff was not that I don't know how conservative, I guess, is the best word to use, but Fulmer would go out there and push things. And this past Saturday against Florida, I thought that we more or less played a lot of conservative football. We played not to lose instead of play to win. And I think that's what we've got to start doing at the University of Tennessee, is playing to win instead of playing to not lose. We've got enough talent there now. I know it's young talent, but we've got enough talent there that we can win ball games. And we got to quit coaching. I think our coaching staff has got to quit coaching to not lose the game and start coaching to actually win the ball game. And that's my thoughts on the Tennessee Volunteers.
Absolutely. Saturday marked the fourth ever Tennessee game. No, well, the fourth game that I've been through to for tennis at Neyland Stadium, and the fifth overall game. I went to the game in Memphis a few years ago, and I went to the Tennessee-South Carolina game back in, what would have been back in 2002, two-ish, I'm guessing. But in all those games that I went to, Saturday night was without a doubt the best atmosphere I've ever seen at a college football game. And the reason being, you take the checkerboard, the checker kneeling, the fans come out and show their support on that and made it happen. You take the fact, for the longest, Lee, we were winning 9-0.
Right.
Yep. And there was all the fans around me and even myself, we were saying, wow, we haven't got in the end zone one time, but, we've kicked 3 field goals, made them, our defense is playing lights out. Defense is playing so well. We all thought, hey, we're fixing to win this ball game. And I thought for the longest we had it won. Florida puts their backup quarterback in, who today has been accused of sexual assault,
right,
and suspended indefinitely. But that's another story. Florida puts their backup quarterback in. Suddenly they score a touchdown.
Right.
Kick the point after. It's 9-7. And at this point, you could kind of the stadium. You could kind of feel the tension start to rise a little bit.
Right.
You're seeing people, suddenly going, all right, yeah, we're about to win this ball game. They're kind of going, ooh, can we stop this backup quarterback? And my, me myself, I was saying the same thing. I was thinking, wow, he come in, led them on that drive to score the first touchdown. And, everybody's just going, hey, that's a totally different caliber quarterback than Driscoll. Driscoll, when he was in the game, it seemed to me like the only things that he could do really well was either keep it himself, keep the football himself and run, or hand it off. Anytime he threw a pass, it was very obvious that passing is not his thing, and it's very obvious that, to me, that he struggled to pass, because there were several times Tennessee players would get a finger on the football. He had at least 2 interceptions. We picked the ball off at least twice. I think one time we picked it off and they called a penalty on us. So it was very obvious that he did not want to pass. And then, all of a sudden they bring the backup quarterback in, and it's just like a whole nother world, And I don't know, that's part of it. I was just reading an article right here, and it was saying that Butch Jones is actually and wouldn't you know, I can't find it now. But it basically said that Butch Jones, I don't know if he said this at his press conference today or what, I'm sure he did, but said he had a couple of officiating questions for the SEC. The first, obviously, was the play clock expiring on the game-winning field goal for Florida. I don't know if you've heard about this, Lee, or seen it, but if you watch the replay the play clock was clearly on 0 before the ball was snapped on the game-winning field goal. And, of course, you hear people saying, well, the way the officials look at that is they're watching the play clock. When it hits 0, they look down, and if the football's moving, they don't make the call.
That's exactly right.
If the football's not moving, that's when the flag comes out, hold up. The images that I've seen, indicate when the clock had hit 0, the ball, the image I saw was from the side, and the holder, didn't even have his hands up ready for the football. And so that's a huge, and I know, people are not perfect.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get, every single play, dead on. I know it's going to happen. A bad call's going to happen. But you want to talk about just a horrible time, to not get the right call. It leaves me questioning. Okay, they said there's really not much they can do. I'm wondering, okay, could they not do this? Could they not have a little earpiece in the head official's ear, and when that play clock hits 0, he hears a tone, and that would be, they could do that. We've got the technology,
absolutely.
The NCAA is making billions of dollars each year. Could we not put that technology in every stadium and make it to where, when the play clock hits 0, there's a little tone that sounds in the official's ear, and that way all he has to do is watch the football.
Well, talking about that though, KJ, why can't they do like in the NBA, they've got the play clock as well. All right, in the NBA, the play clock makes a noise when it hits.
Exactly.
Why can't they just do that at all these? Because even some of the high school stadiums that you and I go to call the Mustangs ball games, even some of those have play clocks at the end of the field.
Exactly.
And I know, like you said, the NCAA, all college football stadiums have play clocks at the end of the field.
Absolutely.
So why can't they just make the buzzard on the play clock? It's not that, technology is what it is. You wouldn't even have to have anything in the ear to add anything. All you'd have to do is put some kind of a audio box or a buzzard on top of the clock.
Well, their point there would be, Lee, and I'm not saying this is right, but what they would say there is, well, what if the crowd is so loud that they can't hear the buzzer
I understand
over the crowd? And that's what I'm saying. The earpiece would make it to where, hey, there's no missing that. There's no, missing that sound through the earpiece. But I don't know. It just seems like there should be a better way. And I want to say the second penalty he was going to question the SEC about was about where Tennessee was called for a false start, but Florida, it should have been something like a illegal substitution. They had too many men on the field or something like that. So, a couple of questions there, and Coach Jones, he's never been one to straight up, bash the officiating after a game or even the Monday following. I don't think he's that kind of coach, but sometimes you do have some questions for the SEC, especially in these SEC games. Where it's critical. It's mission critical to try and get these calls right.
Well, and again, that's we're talking about the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm your host, Lee Haygood. Got Kyle Johnson in here beside me today here on Sports Talk Mania. Love to get a phone call from you. Phone lines are always open, whether we're talking or jabbering or whatever, at 931-629-1824. Or you can always shoot us an email at sportstalk@MustangsTV.com. We're going to step aside, take us a little break, get a word from some of our great sponsors in, and we'll be back here on Sports Talk Mania right after this. The Tennessee National Raceway, where dirt track racing is at its best. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee. Come out each and every Saturday night during racing season, ladies and gentlemen, and see some of the best dirt track racing anywhere around this area. That's the Tennessee National Raceway, 316 Racetrack Road, Hohenwald, Tennessee.
Tailgate checklist. Cooler.
Check.
Chips.
Check.
Hot dogs.
Check.
Mustang gear.
Check.
Insurance.
Check.
This season, protect your team with insurance from Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services. Keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
Hey, it's Charlie. Farm Bureau Insurance is sponsoring high school pink out nights, benefiting American Cancer Society's Making Strides Against Breast Cancer. Here's my buddy Butch to tell you more.
Hi, this is Tennessee football coach Butch Jones. When you think of football around here, you think Big Orange. Now, there's a new color, Big Pink. High school teams across Tennessee are helping fight breast cancer with Friday night pink outs, and one of them is right here. So come out Friday night when the Loretto High Mustangs wear Big Pink versus Columbia Academy.
Welcome back here, everyone, to Sports Talk Mania. We're here with you each and every Monday afternoon from the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Let's talk some sports. Let's talk high school sports, college sports, any sports you want to talk about. We even talk about soccer on here. We don't know a whole lot about soccer on here, but we can talk about any sports you'd like. Just give us a call. Phone lines are always open during the show, ladies and gentlemen, at 931-629-1824. KJ just added a new commercial into our repertoire there, and it's got Coach Butch Jones actually talking a little bit about Loretto Mustang football, and I'm going to kind of let you get into that, but want to let folks know first that the commercial is actually for next Friday night's ball game against Columbia Academy, not this week's ball game. Of course, we're on the road making that 3-hour road trip a little bit east of here. And tell us a little bit about the commercial that just played, KJ.
Yeah, not this coming Friday night, but the next Friday night, of course, we got the big pink out game at Ellen Forsyth Memorial Field. We'll be playing Columbia Academy, and that is the breast cancer awareness game. And Farm Bureau Insurance, has done a great job of getting this together, and they're going to have pink jerseys. The Mustangs will be wearing pink jerseys in the game, and then when the game is complete, they're going to auction those jerseys off to anyone who wants to bid. The high bidder will get the jerseys. 100% of the funds, all the proceeds, will go to breast cancer research. I think of the American Cancer Society is who they're donating that to. But they're going to be selling the jerseys. They'll have hats for sale right there at the stadium, and it's just going to be a great thing. And I want to encourage everyone in the Loretto and Columbia communities both to come out and support this very good cause that they're going to be having. And as you heard, got Coach Butch Jones on board with the Tennessee football program. I think that's just a great thing. Really trying to promote this event going on next Friday.
And we actually heard it first here on Sports Talk Mania and MustangsTV.com. Butch Jones saying Loretto Mustangs.
That's right. That's that's big time.
When you got Coach Butch Jones of the Tennessee Volunteers speaking your town's name and your mascot on the radio or on network or whatever, that is a huge accomplishment. But not even speaking about the accomplishment, KJ, I want to put my 2 cents in about this pink out game. It's all for a great cause. Just about every one of us have someone that's been affected by breast cancer, and of course October always Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and someone's always, just about everyone, especially most of our viewers, if not all of our viewers, has someone that they're either kin to or good friends with that's been affected by breast cancer, and it's a great cause. And what it's going for, again, ladies and gentlemen, is both teams are going to be getting pink jerseys to wear that night, and one side's going to be pink with white numerals, and the other side's going to be white with pink numerals. So both teams is going to have all these jerseys. Mom and Dad, I know you'd love to get a souvenir of your son playing in football sports. They're going to have these pink jerseys or white jerseys with the pink numerals on it. And you definitely, I know, would probably want one, but they're going to sell other jerseys. I think the way we had a visitor come up to the press box with us, KJ, 3 weeks ago, our last home game, whenever that one was. Seems like we've been on the road for the last 6, 7, 8 weeks now. But
it does, doesn't it?
It seems like that. I know we haven't. But anyway, our last home game, we had a visitor come up from Farm Bureau, and he had on one of those caps, a pink cap, or the actual underneath. I think it's camouflage, but it was pink mesh and then a pink underneath the bill of the cap. And he come up there and talked to us about that big pink out game. And the way I'm understanding it is that you can actually get online and order those jerseys or an extra jersey or whatever. I know the ones is going to be auctioned off, but if somebody like a parent wanted an extra jersey or something, I think the way he talked that people would be able to order them, call and order them in one way, shape, or fashion. So,
yeah, they did a pre-order kind of deal where you can if the parents of the players wanted, their son's jersey, they could just pay a set price for that jersey. And, that way that keeps somebody else who may want that number from raising up the price. And, they made it to where there's a preset amount, for the parents. And so, but they made it to where, there's still enough left over, to make a good donation from that to the American Cancer Society. And so it's just a great thing, and I think it's going to be very successful.
Well, we want to thank Farm Bureau first and foremost for getting all this going, and we appreciate what they do in our communities and around the area as well. And I want to thank Coach Butch Jones and the Tennessee Volunteers for jumping on board with this as well. And a lot of you high school students or student athletes, KJ, we seen this past Friday night at Wayne County. A lot of them already wrapping, pink tape around and wearing pink socks and things like that, already in observance of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is the whole month of October. So a lot of these young student athletes already on board with this, but luckily Farm Bureau has jumped on board. The University of Tennessee has jumped on board with this. All of it, all in collaboration, have come together and said, "Hey, let's do this." And there's 35 games, I believe, that's going to be actual pink outs during the month of October. And maybe it's just they're all that night. What would that be? October just trying to get quick count, 16th, 17th, something like that is the actual date.
The 17th.
17th.
No, the 24th. Because we'll have Trousdale County this Friday, and then we will have Richland for homecoming, and then the 24th will be Columbia
So it's the
Academy.
24th.
So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Lee. It will be 2 weeks from now.
Okay,
instead
so
of just
it's
a week.
2 weeks away. I'm sorry that
Gotta have homecoming first.
I'm sorry we misguided some
Yeah,
people
we both missed that. So.
October the 24th then is the pink out game. That's Loretta against Columbia Academy at Loretta at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. So looking forward to that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are open at 931-629-1824. Let's talk about our own home team, KJ. We traveled over to Wayne County Friday night to take on the Wayne County Wildcats. Homecoming there at Wayne County, at Waynesboro, Tennessee. And the Mustangs come in. And a little earlier today, fortunately, Exports Live has had one of us on, and it's been me for each week that we've been on, but they always seem to call me, and we appreciate their time to give MustangsTV.com on the air. And today I even made the comment about homecoming is usually a game that you want to get a weak team in to play you. And when you have someone actually put you in their homecoming game, to me, that always got me up. When I was playing in high school football, that always made me so irritated that, you know what, you think enough about us to get us in here as your homecoming ball game. I can't stand that. And that was the games I always seemed to shine, because it irritated me to that point that I played better in those games. And so going in the other night, I'm thinking, oh, wow. And I didn't realize it until we got there. Somebody may have told me, and I just didn't think about it. But I get there, and I know it's homecoming. Well, that automatically gets me ready to play football. And you would think it did the Mustangs. And I'm not saying it didn't. But, KJ, once the kickoff came and the ball game got started, it was like Wayne County could do no wrong. The first half, again, I made this comment on X Sports Live today, I may have seen 4 mistakes that your average spectator, average fan that doesn't pay attention, don't analyze football like myself, would not even have noticed. But I seen 4 little minor mistakes maybe the whole first half that Wayne County may have made. And I'm sure their coach pointed out a lot more than that. But I seen 4 little minors. Well, you know what? If you're not that good of a team, and you're not a team that's probably at this point in the season 5 wins into the season by now, you're not going to be able to compete with a team like that. And honestly, I don't think that the Loretta Mustangs competed that first half. I think a few changes were made at halftime, and I think we come out and played a lot better the second half. But the first half, I don't think we had a chance, KJ.
No, you talk about, it's just a rough environment to go into. I did a little reading before the game on Coach T, and one thing that I read was over the past few years, it looked like Wayne County, people were talking about Wayne County just pretty much not showing up for their homecoming games, and losing the homecoming games, and there was some concern on the Wayne County side of that happening this year, and the guys not being focused, and they were even commenting on Coach T, saying, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just all the homecoming activities that that get the guys just it's like they're just zoned out or something. I don't know. So I think there was a little bit of pressure there on Wayne County side to come in and play well, from the beginning. Because, I'm sure it was addressed by Coach Rice before the game, and he saying, hey, we're not going to have that this year, are we? And, they just seemed to come out, and like you said, they just didn't make mistakes, and when you don't make any mistakes, and you're everything's clicking offensively, and you're getting those defensive stops, it's hard to do anything with that,
Well, the thing that got me is they didn't give us an opportunity to do anything. They were spot on everything that every assignment that I seen. Again, the 4 minor mistakes that I saw was probably an assignment missed. But when you've got your main, and that could have been a couple of them, if I can remember correctly, were on the back side of the plays, and I seen an assignment miss where if our players could have been just a little bit quicker, a little faster, they may have gotten there, but it didn't happen. And those were the only little minor mistakes that I saw. Coach Rice's son's actually the quarterback at Wayne County, Preston Rice. He's the quarterback, only a sophomore, but the first half of that game, KJ, if anybody that stands would have thought this is only a sophomore quarterback playing, everybody in the stands would have probably turned and looked at the people that said that and said, no, you're telling me a field. There is no way that kid is just a sophomore because of his arm, his ability, his athleticism. There is no way that you would think, just sitting there and watching him in that first half, that he was a sophomore in high school. And I think most football fans would sit and agree. Now, take second half, though. They come out, and what happens? Their first 3 possessions, fumble, fumble, fumble. And we recovered 2 of them. The third one we didn't recover. But we recovered the first 2 possessions, fumble that they had on their first 2 possessions. We recovered. And even on Exports Live, they was asking me today, did you guys actually have turnovers? No, we didn't have turnovers. It wasn't that we were shooting ourselves in the foot Friday night. It was that we were playing that good of a team that made that happen. And again, we didn't look good. We honestly didn't. I think we honestly may have taken a step back Friday night. But as Coach Boyd said at the end, that we are Mustangs, we're going to remain Mustangs. So, that's one of those things that I think you got to take in stride. Again, Loretta just couldn't get anything going the first half. Second half, again, I think we turned around. We started making some plays, a couple plays here, a couple plays there. We put a few things together. We ended up scoring a couple of times. I think the final score, 48-14, is that correct?
Yeah.
47-14, something like that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, you always – in a game like that, you want to look at the positives.
Absolutely.
The positives, and there were some positives for the Mustangs. I thought one positive was Preston Berryhill. He scored both touchdowns for the Mustangs. Just really looked like a streak of lightning running across the field, to be honest with you.
And it came in for Luke Hood, who went down, maybe a minor concussion. I haven't heard an actual injury report on Luke, but I know he was on the sideline and on the knee and, attentive to everything, but just not feeling that well. So, but, yeah, like you said, you got to look at the positives. Berryhill comes in, but you know what, KJ, I've talked to a couple of Mustang fans since Friday night, especially Saturday, as I was calling some youth league games. And I talked to several Mustang fans then about this, and they said, well, you know what? Berryhill was doing good at the starting of the year. How come he hasn't been in there the whole time? Well, that's coaches' decisions there. That's coaching decisions that's went on, and not everybody watches practices. I myself, I think I've watched 3 practices, maybe 4 at the most, all season long. And I'm not at every practice. I don't know what's going on. I can sit and watch Bryce Hanna kick 15 field goals during practice the 4 times I go and never miss one. But that don't mean that every practice I miss, he's missed every field goal during practice or every extra point or whatever. So, and again, I just brought Bryce up because he's usually Mr. Automatic on Friday nights. But I brought that up to try to show people what I'm talking about here. You're not at practices. You don't know what's going on at practices. But now, Berryhill, like you said, come out and done an excellent job Friday night in replacement of Luke Hood. And I've seen a lot of things on the defensive side of the ball, KJ, that I think that we can build on as well. Seen a couple of good things going on as far as our stunning. We were stunning. We didn't have people in the right spots a lot of the first half.
Right.
And that's the reason Wayne County was able to open up to, I think it was a 40-0 lead going in at halftime. And that's the reason they were able to do that is because we didn't have people at the right spots. So is that missed assignments on our side? Is that the coaching staff on our side? I don't know that. I wasn't there. I don't know if the plays was called for the kids to be there and they just weren't there, or if their athletes were that good that we couldn't beat their athletes to the spot we were supposed to be in.
I tell you what, to me, Wayne County definitely showed why they deserve the region championship. They just, I think they're 6-1 now. That puts them to 6-1 over
I believe it is
mark on the year, and they're having a good year. I heard somebody say that. They're possibly thinking state championship this year.
And the way they played Friday night, the first half, I'm not going to say that you may not be completely right about that. So, KJ, let's take a break, get some of our great sponsors in, and come back here on Sports Talk Mania. And we'll come back, we'll finish out the show. We still got about 15 minutes left, and you can give us a call at 931-629-1824. You're tuned in to Sports Talk Mania on Mustangs TV.
Southern Craft Manufacturing in Loretto, Tennessee blends old world craftsmanship and modern manufacturing for a multitude of steel and brushed finish caskets. Founder Rodney Robinson is dedicated to providing the finest quality at the best value. At Southern Craft Manufacturing, we are committed to choice with a variety of colors and hardware designs for limitless combinations. Southern Craft Manufacturing, North Main Street, Loretto. Toll free 800-413-1778. Your number one Mustang fans, Auto Owners Insurance and Loretto Insurance Services, a winning combination. We'll work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Call Loretto Insurance Services in Loretto today, 931-853-7126.
Hey, it's Charlie. Farm Bureau Insurance is sponsoring high school pink out nights, benefiting American Cancer Society's making strides against breast cancer. Here's my buddy Butch to tell you more.
Hi, this is Tennessee football coach Butch Jones. When you think of football around here, you think Big Orange. Now, there's a new color, Big Pink. High school teams across Tennessee are helping fight breast cancer with Friday night pink outs, and one of them is right here. So come out Friday night when the Loretto High Mustangs wear Big Pink versus Columbia Academy.
I'd like to welcome everyone back to Sports Talk Mania with Lee Haygood on this cloudy, stormy Monday evening. I want to remind everyone the commercial that you just heard from Farm Bureau Insurance and Coach Butch Jones, that is a promotional for the Pink Out game in 2 weeks, be held at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. And we talked about that earlier in the show, and it's just going to be a great event, and hopefully it'll help generate a lot of money for breast cancer research.
Get you pink and get out there October 24th, I think, what you and I finally decided the actual date was.
Yeah.
Against Columbia Academy at LM Forsyth Memorial Field. Looking forward to that. Getting back into high school football and talking about Wayne County, when you said that they were 7-1, and I was thinking that was close, 6-1 or 7-1. I couldn't remember. But at 6-1, I was trying to remember who it was that beat them, and it was Hickman County that beat Wayne County early in the season. Well, Hickman County's went on and won every ball game up until this past Friday night. On Friday night, they actually got beat by Camden Central. Camden Central High School beat Hickman County for their first loss of the season. 2 weeks ago, Hickman County beat Lewis County, and everybody remembers back first game of this season, Lewis County against Loretto, how good we thought Lewis County was and how we thought, okay, they're going to go on. Well, guess what? Hickman County beat Lewis County, and actually I think from what I'm hearing, the score was just a little bit closer than the actual football game was. The way I understand it, Hickman County pretty much ruled the field for the whole ball game. Had a couple of mistakes that cost them gave Lewis County some points to make the score not look as bad as the actual game. And, again, Wayne County, the only loss they've had was against Hickman County. So when I'm saying that Wayne County is that good, I truly believe that they are. And based off what we saw the first half Friday night, I think they are. And talking about Coach Boyd's interview at the end of the game, and I apologize that he hasn't called in today. Usually speak to Coach Boyd every Monday afternoon. And there's times that he'll wait until halftime of the B-team game to call in if they're having a B-team game. Not even sure if they're having a B-team game tonight.
They weren't having a B-team game tonight. And, two, it's fall break, and so the kids –
Oh, that's right. I forget about fall break.
The kids aren't in school this week, and so I'm sure they may be on a little vacation, him and his family.
He may be down at the beach.
That's right.
Like a lot of other people I know of.
If he is, then, hey, I'm jealous. That's where I want to be.
Something else that's going on, KJ, I wanted you to bring up something for someone that's real close, near, and dear to our hearts and has been and always will be, and that's Miss Deborah Ernest. Something going on here coming up, and if you don't care, I'd like for you to talk about that here on Sports Talk Mania.
Absolutely. I was contacted by Miss Joy Taylor a few days ago, and she wanted me to really get the word out there about an event they're going to have coming up for the Deborah Moore Ernest Scholarship Fund on Saturday, October the 11th at the Loretta High School gym. There will be a Deborah Ernest scrimmage day going on with most of our elementary area basketball teams participating. It says all proceeds will go to the Deborah Moore Ernest Scholarship Fund. Admission for adults will be $3, students $2. Concessions will be available. It says we are inviting everyone to come out and enjoy some practice games and support these young athletes and their coaches as they prepare for their upcoming season. It says it seemed only fitting that our first fundraiser should be held in the gym where Mrs. E spent most of her time, whether it was from teaching PE, cheerleading, coaching volleyball and basketball, chaperoning proms and dances, playing in class tournaments, and even the Womanless Beauty Pageant. So we would like to thank the coaches and players for participating. And following is the schedule. Now we have that schedule, and everything I just read on the Mustangs TV Facebook page. If you'll look on there, it'll have the full schedule, everything on there. You may have to scroll down just a little bit, but it's there. It also says if there are any parents or fans who need to leave and then return for the next game, they may get their hands stamped at the gate and be readmitted.
All right.
And so it's just an awesome thing going on, Lee, that, Miss E, she impacted so many lives, just over the years. And, this is something that the scholarship, I know, is something that hopefully will be able to be continued. Hopefully 30 years from now, we're still giving the Deborah Moore Ernest Memorial Scholarship, and we're able to talk about how great of a person Mrs. E was. And she still, I know she still, her work still lives on today. So.
And always keep her family in your prayers and in your hearts, because, like you said, KJ, Miss E impacted a lot of lives coming through Loretta High School through all the years that she was there. And this being a great way to keep her name and the tradition of Miss E going, throughout the years, giving away scholarships and these things that's taken up. Talking about basketball, KJ, let's get a little bit lighter-hearted stuff here. Talking about basketball, basketball season not too far away.
Yeah, it's coming right up. It'll be here right before you know it. In fact, the Lady Mustangs and Mustangs already have their tentative schedule released, and I say tentative because at this point you're not really able to finalize the schedule, because it's like it's in stone, but then again it's not.
Right.
And so this comes with a fair warning that the schedule could change at any time. But as of right now, the girls, the Lady Mustangs, are going to tip off November the 11th over at Cornersville, and that'll be a girls-only game. That'll be followed by the 15th, November 15th, Giles County at home, and that'll be another girls only right there. And then Tuesday, starting from there on, you'll have both the girls and the boys, playing boys right after the girls. All games start at 6. The 18th, they'll be at Mars Hill. The 24th of November, Lawrence County at home. December 5th at Frank Hughes. December the 9th at Perry County. The 12th, Collinwood at home. The 16th of December, Spring Hill away. The 18th and 19th of December, the boys will be playing in the Lawrence County High School Christmas Tournament. And then the 26th, it's just the 26th, the girls will be playing at the Lauderdale County, Alabama Girls Christmas Tournament. I know a lot of fans are glad to see the Lady Mustangs back in that tournament that, back in from about 2002 to 2006, we just pretty much dominated that tournament.
Right.
The 29th and 30th, the boys will be playing at the Mount Pleasant Christmas Classic. January 2nd, Lawrence County away. January 9th, Summertown at home. January 13th at Wayne County. January 16th at Collinwood. The 17th, Mars Hill at home. The 20th, Frank Hughes at home. The 22nd at Cornersville. The 23rd, Perry County. The 27th at Summertown. The 30th, Wayne County at home. The 3rd, February 3rd, Santa Fe at home. And February the 18th, district tournament has to be completed, so they'll get together and have a meeting of all the district coaches and work out the exact times and dates when everybody plays, more toward the end of the season there when it's kind of more clear, of the standings. Yep. And then the 20th through the 26th of February will be the region tournament. The girls sectional will be February 28th. The boys sectional will be March the 2nd. March 4th through the 7th is the TSSAA state tournament on the girls' side. And then March 11th through the 14th will be the boys' TSSAA state tournament there. So, and it says JV games will be announced a little bit later on. So, quite a packed schedule right there, Lee. You look at that schedule. I mean, you just look at it overall, and you say, "Hey, that's no easy schedule."
Right.
And I don't know if they had this planned before, Coach Tips moved to Stone Memorial, but you know that the Mars Hill games on the January 17th, when we play Mars Hill at home, and then when we go to Mars Hill.
That was up starting of the season.
Yeah, that one will be November the 18th. We travel to Mars Hill. That'll be a tough game for Miss Ashley Rutledge to coach in. That's because I've been talking to Coach Tips some, and he even told me that he would like to play the Lady Mustangs, but he said I want it to be a few years,
right,
and that's understandable. So just an action-packed schedule. I'm glad to see us playing Spring Hill again. That's a team that they're close, and the talent should be pretty good. We always put some pretty good talent out there on the floor, so that'll be some good a couple of good games for our girls and guys, and I know I touched on the Lauderdale County Christmas Classic, December the 26th. That's a tournament that the Lady Mustangs just dominated from about 2002 to 2006. Of course, when Coach Tips came in 2007, he didn't enroll in that tournament because that was his time to participate in a tournament where the team kind of stayed somewhere over the Christmas break. It really promoted team unity, and that's a great thing. That's
right.
It seemed to always work really well. But that's one of those things. You different coaches see things different ways.
Yep.
So that's. I'm excited to be back in that tournament, and I know a lot of Lady Mustang fans are as well.
Well, and you're talking about the basketball season, talking about Loretta Mustang basketball and Lady Mustangs coming up. Only just a little over a month away till tip-off. And talking about that, I'm looking forward to, and we may have to set this up in the next week or two, getting Coach Rutledge on here and Coach Roach on here as well. Coach Michael Rochester, by the way. You'll hear me call him Coach Roach because that's just what I'd rather call him. That's what just about everybody calls him.
That's all I've ever called him. In
Coach
fact,
Roach
when you say Coach Rochester, I'm going, who's that? And then, it's Coach Roach.
But we're definitely going to have to be getting them on here. Didn't realize that the basketball season had already crept up on us and got here this quick. So when Coach Rutledge was first named as the the coach to come in to replace Coach Tips at Loretta. We had her on here for an interview, and this was way back when. And then we've got had Coach Roach on here as well. So look forward to getting their thoughts coming up on MustangsTV.com here on Sports Talk Mania here in the very near future. I'll start getting some things sent out, and we'll get that set up and try to let you know via Facebook or something that when they're going to be on the show, so you can tune in to those shows as well. Looks like about the end of the hour has approached us, and enjoyed your company here today, KJ. Welcome you back any Monday afternoon between the hours of 6 to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time here on Sports Talk Mania. We always get into some pretty good conversations on here, and look forward to all our callers calling in. Apparently you and I just talked too much today and didn't get our callers enough time to get the call in. But phone lines, ladies and gentlemen, phone lines are always open here on Sports Talk Mania. Whether I'm running my mouth, KJ's here running his mouth, it doesn't matter. Phone lines are open. We'd be glad to talk to you. Again, look forward to maybe next week getting Coach Boyd back on here. Again, I forgot all about this being fall break and kids and teachers and coaches and all a lot of them maybe being out of town and all that good stuff. And
all of them headed to the beach. It makes me so jealous.
Yeah, I know. I see pictures posted. But either way, hey, that's going to end this show for today. I want to thank all of our sponsors, especially Farm Bureau. Keep tuning in to Mustangs TV, because I know we'll be playing that one a lot for our Pink Out game coming up October 24th. Want to thank Miss Debbie Ezel at Loretta Insurance Services and Southern Craft Manufacturing as well. Of course, the Big Fred Show and us right here on Sports Talk Mania with your host, Lee Haygood. Look forward to next Monday. Talking about some more sports and getting over the weekend and trying to get the week started right, talking about sports here on Sports Talk Mania. Until next week, I'm Lee Haygood.
I'm Kyle Johnson.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, tune in 6 to 7 p.m. each and every Monday here on Sports Talk Mania. Everyone have a great week. Everyone have a great night. And remember, Godspeed.